You hold on to me. I've said no and I've let go. I've been moved by the way you hold on to me. You hold on to me.
What's happened?
It's not going out. There's a problem with the internet. I've been there and I've been back. I've been moved by the way you hold on to me. You hold on to me. I've said no and I've let go. I've been moved by the way you hold on to me. You hold on to me. We all knew the greatest love consumed by grace. I can see your face, so I've come down to my knees, where I can know your mercy flow. I've been cruel and
Hey Sandy, hope you're well. Dean Allen here. Just going for a run along King's Beach. What a beautiful evening, what a beautiful beach, what a beautiful part of the world we live in. I hope tonight's show goes well. I'm really looking forward to it. But I just want to announce some incredible news. In fact, it's my turn to be part of the centre stage Gino Spot stable. Because on Thursday, the 20th of October, we're going to be launching Frontierland with Dean Allen. And my first guest is none other than Div de Villiers. Div has got an incredible story here in the Eastern Cape. He is the man that protects our wildlife. Things from rhino poaching to protecting endangered species. So I hope you join us on Thursday, the 20th of October, and enjoy your evening. I'm off again for this run.
So let's get going with Sandy's Coffee Break. Ooh, welcome to the show. Now it's your turn to shine. We're gonna have a lekker chat tonight. Another good time.
Welcome to everybody to Coffey Break Conversations. I think this is our 5th or 6th one, and it just gets more and more interesting for me to be able to share conversations with people that are interesting, they push boundaries, they've got a story to tell, and certainly tonight's guest has a life of a story to tell. So I want to welcome Liza Lesedi to the stage. Welcome, Liza.
Hi. Thanks so much for having me. Super
I mean,
excited.
I was just thinking, you know, from coming from Port Elizabeth and now you're in Utah, it's a bit early for you. So I'm very thankful that you are making time for us today.
It's okay. If I'm not getting started by 10:30 in the morning, there is an issue.
Oh, okay. But we're happy
Not
that
that early.
you did.
Not that early.
Okay, well, let's really kick off and ask you, who is Liza Lesedi?
So Liza Lesedi is many things. Mother, I'm getting feedback. Sorry. There's a whole feedback thing. Sorry, guys.
I'm
you
fine.
hear it?
Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Sorry, guys, technical issue.
So,
Is the echo gone?
yes, it's gone now.
Okay.
Thank you.
So who is Liza Lesedi?
Liza Lesedi is a mother. She's a chef. She's a wife. And she's an online superstar. She is everything from trying to empower women by taking on and accepting who she has become in her life and who she was growing up, and the whole metamorphosis, right? And the whole change through life. And also to educate people. That is
And what better platform than all your platforms?
I have a lot of platforms.
You do have a lot of platforms. So I want to know, how does Liza Lesedi make her money?
Well, through my social media platforms, mostly through OnlyFans. That being...
And what is OnlyFans?
OnlyFans is a social media platform that, well, they say it's for sex workers, essentially. But I don't really like the term, because you could also just be teaching, sports classes, fitness classes. You could be selling diet programs. But because the majority of people that have accounts there are liberated and get money from, whether it's posing nude, to doing pornography, to being a porn star, whatever they want to do, but in the safety of their own home. It's actually an amazing platform. It's allowed mothers and people that are liberated to actually stay home in a safe environment and make a hell of a lot of money.
And Liza, so would you go as far as to say that it also empowers prostitutes who normally had to be on the street to make money, and now they don't have to have that sex stuff, and they can just be on OnlyFans?
No more pimps involved. Women are able to be there in business for themselves. They're safe, whereas strippers would have to get on a pole in a nightclub or whatever. They now don't have to deal with management. They don't have to deal with patrons grabbing at them, or the safety when they leave their club at the end of the night. They don't have to give a chunk of change to whoever the big boss is, right? They get to keep all the money to themselves. They would pay 20% to OnlyFans, but essentially it's like paying for a rental, or like paying for your space. Yeah. That's your space that you're paying for. And not only that, they actually give you legal assistance if you need it.
Okay, so what is it that you actually do? I mean, you've thrown around a couple of descriptions.
Yeah.
But what do you describe that you do?
Wait, on OnlyFans or across the board?
Yeah.
Because
across the board and on OnlyFans.
Okay, well, each of my platforms are very different. So I'm a chef, and I started out as a chef. I trained, worked around the world as a chef. And then I was so sick and tired of being pushed around by men in kitchens, because it's a man's world out there, that I thought, screw it. There's all these social media platforms, and people are making tons of content, and they become famous, and they're actually able to teach others how to cook. So I said, I'm going to start a page for that. So then I've started. So Liza Lesedi is delicious. That is one. And it's been actually wildly popular. In fact, my TikTok channel has almost 200,000 followers.
I see your Instagram has 855,000 followers.
That's just one of my Instagram pages. My other one has 25.1 thousand, and that's my backup account.
Okay, so let's just go back to OnlyFans. Yeah. So how do you manage your day's work? Like, I mean, it's not a normal day's work. So tell me about your day.
Honestly, it's kind of a crapshoot in any given day. You wake up and you go, okay, wait, which one do I want to do first? Do I want to create a cooking show today? Okay, wait, you've got to pump out a picture now on Instagram. You've got to constantly stay relevant. It's all about relevance. And social media, it's like you're swiping constantly. So if you're not in that swipe, you're a nobody. You become a nobody. So you constantly have to be feeding content. And so it doesn't matter how your day transpires. The only thing I know every morning when I wake up, I have to create content and I have to post content.
Okay, and then how do you decide on the content? Like what you're wearing, what you're doing, how much you're showing? So am I right in saying that Instagram doesn't allow you to show nipples and bits, but OnlyFans you can go
You
the
can do
full
whatever
hog?
you want on OnlyFans. They are,
Okay,
well,
so
there's
Instagram's
rules
almost
within
a...
reason, but on OnlyFans, but it's all legal rules, right? What is legal and what is illegal. So, but no, you can go fully nude. You can do whatever you want, really, for, to yourself on OnlyFans. On Instagram, there's community guidelines, like there is TikTok, YouTube. All of these social media platforms have community guidelines. So you have to follow the community guidelines in order to get ahead. But that being said, there's a fine line. I've worn sheer tops before and it gets pulled down, but it's still wearing an item of clothing, right? But then I'll see another girl wearing a mesh white top that's had water poured all over it, and you can see her nipples clear as day, and that just it never gets taken down. So tell me,
So it's
what
not standard.
Yeah, there's different standards. Just depends who
And,
reports you.
okay, I was really curious about I'm going back to the work. So you wake up in the morning and you sit down and say, I've got to post on all these platforms.
Yeah.
And you obviously have to have change of clothing for, Instagram and then OnlyFans. And where else are you on? So TikTok?
So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, and then obviously my OnlyFans. Oh, and Fansly as well.
So Fansly is a sort of copycat of OnlyFans.
It's in competition. So what happened was, and I was one of the first creators on OnlyFans. So I'm an OG. OG, so to speak. But I'm one of the first creators. And so what happened was a competitor, Fansly, started up, but they, around the same time, but they really weren't popular. OnlyFans really got its big boost. And then, there are so many creators now. I think over a million creators.
Well, there are 150 million followers or subscriptions on OnlyFans. So,
and let me tell you, it's not easy to get onto OnlyFans either. Like, the whole making of an account as a user, it's not user friendly, but people want that. People crave that. So people will jump through hoops to get an account with OnlyFans so that they can be part of this next generation, so to speak, in the adult industry, entertainment industry.
Okay, so I'm going back to what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Do you take your clothes off for a living?
Yes.
What do you do? You do.
I take my clothes off for a living. I am all about expression of the body. I don't find the body to be disgusting in any way, shape, or form. I think as females and men, we should be liberated. We should love ourselves. And by sharing ourselves, there's no issue with it. There's an issue with it if you believe there's an issue with it. But that would be your belief, not my belief. So I have certain boundaries where I won't go. I'm not a porn star. I don't set up videos with other people, men and women. And
you don't have sex on screen.
No. But I'll masturbate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually like teaching a masterclass, because masturbation is actually a super important thing. I mean, it's really important.
Yes, it is. And I've seen you on Instagram speak about sex toys and stuff. So is that also carried through to OnlyFans?
Yes, absolutely. So what OnlyFans is, it's Instagram on steroids. So Instagram is my teaser. So what you would see in my stories, which is my reality TV show, it's just living in the life of Liza. Every single day, there's a new story, as you've seen on my Instagram.
It is a reality show, for sure.
It's a reality show, and people have been a part of my life for 6 years. And so waking up every morning and creating a new narrative for them to see the ins and outs of it on a daily basis, it can be exhausting. And it can be exhausting to be at the restaurant with your husband and you pull out your phone and the poor guy has to sit there while you start making, commentary and a whole new episode for today kind of thing.
Well, while we're on the subject of your husband, I need to know, so you recently married, and I must just explain something here, that I met Liza when she came to South Africa to get married, and I photographed with another photographer, we photographed Liza's wedding. And that's how I got to know. And then I ended up doing a couple of nude shoots with Liza, and so we became friends. That's how we've ended up having this conversation. But I wanted to know how your guy, your married husband, feels about what you do. And then the next question is your children, because how old are your kids?
I've got an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old.
And I also want to know how you explain it to them and how you deal with that.
Sure. Okay, so my husband absolutely knows everything, and he is happy with whatever makes me happy, and that's how it should be. I don't impose my beliefs on him. He does not have to impose his beliefs on me. And also, we started this journey together, which was really fun and amazing. I came out of another relationship. I was married before to an ex-Mormon. I was married into a Mormon family. So you talk about being oppressed.
Yeah, extremes. Yeah, you go from one to the other. Yeah,
I felt like I was caged. And
does he know what you do, your ex-husband?
Oh yes, and he actually contacted my parents and tried to cause much drama for me. That he told them I was a porn star and all this stuff. Anyway, it was just a bitter ex-husband. But the funny thing is, he would text me and ask me for nude pics.
But double standards.
It's the double standard. It is the double standard always. And so, and he was engaged to another woman at the time, which is his wife now. So it's it's appalling. It's appalling.
So your husband is pretty cool with everything. He knows it. He started it with you. He completely understands and trusts you. And also, I'm assuming that because Liza Lesedi is not your real name, there's no danger of somebody coming into your lives.
No, obviously I do get noticed around. I've got some restaurants that I go to. There are some people that have actively gone to seek me at these restaurants.
I'm sure.
But again, they don't know my name. They can't look me up online personally. They can't find out who my children are. They can't find out my identity so that they scam me or rip me off in life. So that's super important. I think hiding your identity when you are so publicly known throughout the internet is a wise thing to do. And
totally.
Liza Lesedi hasn't been my name the whole time. I change my name about once every year. Something you didn't know.
I did not know that. But before I go into that, I still want to go back to your husband and your children. Because everyone will ask that question.
Yeah, my husband's totally cool with it, as he loves me. So if it makes me happy, then he's happy. And I must say, I love the flexible nature of this job. I am able to be a hands-on, everyday mother. My kids go to school, I walk them to school. My kids come home from school, I pick them up from school. There is no nanny looking after them. I am the hands-on parent. I was never raised that way. Living in South Africa, my parents were always working and I was raised by maids. I would barely ever see my parents. And the funny thing is, you ask, do my children know what I do? And how do I explain that? I didn't even know what my father did growing up for a living.
How amazing is that perspective?
It just wasn't something, it was like children just be children and they don't really care just so long as you provide for them, right? And they don't even understand what business is in general. I mean, if you think about it, how much of your parents' work did you really know about? I'm asking you that question. How much of
well, I think my kids know what I do, for sure. But if you have to, probably now as they're adults, they do know, yeah. But with your kids, what do they know about what you do?
Well, firstly, they're 8 and 10. So it's the same thing. Do you tell your children what you do in the bedroom? No. You shelter them from a lot of things. However, they know that I'm an online superstar, essentially. They know that I'm super sexy. They know I'm a bikini model. They know that I have a cooking show online. And they know that their mother is all about empowerment and educating people. They know that I'm out there sexually. I talk about sex freely, like it is brushing your teeth. Because you should do it every day.
which is, I mean, sex is such a fundamental and sort of the center point of everything.
Of course, we are alive because of sex.
So as your As your daughter gets older and she becomes more exposed to social media,
Sure.
do you follow her with the questions, or do you answer her as she
I am
goes?
completely frank with my children, but I'm not going to tell them, Mommy went online today and I masturbated. Like, what parent goes and says that? Now, if my children ever want to know the ins and outs of I mean, you think about it with a doctor and a surgeon. Does a surgeon come home and say, oh, I pulled out someone's intestines today? Like, no, just like,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I go up to
Except
work.
that there's an alluring fact around what you do, rather than taking out intestines is quite
Well, there
different
might be an alluring fact to some people about taking out intestines.
Yeah, I've just been
You
watching
don't
Jeffrey
know.
Dahmer. God.
Exactly. I was actually just watching the show last night.
Oh, no, me too. Liza, so I suppose the question is, if your daughter came home from school one day and said one of the fathers has an only plan and told his son da 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 da, how does that conversation go?
I doubt a father's going to tell his son he has an OnlyFans account and that he saw me masturbating. Like, that's just not even going to come up. Because
But when she's 18, she'll know.
She will know completely. Yeah. The thing is, we talk about everything freely, but she's 10 years old. So there's things you shelter a 10-year-old.
Yeah, no, sure.
Like, it's like she's not allowed to drink because she's 10 years old. It's like she should not be thinking about sex right now. So therefore,
I mean, I was amazed when I did that one photograph, that shoot for you in the water. And how when you were taking your clothes off and in the water, and it was so beautiful and it was such an ease that your kids were watching. Well, they weren't watching, they were actually watching Grand Prix, but every now and again they looked up and they saw you. And there was such a natural appreciation for what you were doing. And it was so beautiful. And I remember thinking at the time, and that's a very healthy way of seeing nudity.
So it's normalizing. You are only going to freak out about things if that is what you were taught to do. So for us in our family, I walk around naked. I think being proud of your body is super important. My kids, drop their clothes in the house. It's not a big deal. My daughter's 10 years old, so she's starting to go through puberty and all the stuff. And it's like, she doesn't even want to wear a bra. And I'm like, if you look, because, when you're a 10-year-old girl and you start getting bee stings and stuff, it's
sweet.
Well, for me, it was like embarrassing. I didn't want people to like see through my shirt at the time, right? And now it's like, please look through my shirt. But my daughter has now taken on the same role I am, where she goes, I've worn a training bra and they are so uncomfortable. What on earth do I need a training bra for? Yeah, so you can see these like strange nipples poking through right now, but so is every other 10-year-old going through the same thing right now.
Sure.
So for them, it's been totally normalized in our household. Being naked, being free. There's no shame. There's really no sin in it. We should all just be running around nude 24/7. I could be a nudist if more people would adapt it, but yeah, it's not really.
It goes on to another question I have for you around, you're talking about, loving your body and everything else, but where does plastic surgery fit into that, and how does it fit into your life?
Oh, I enjoy plastic surgery. I think anything to make you feel more confident about yourself. I do Botox. I've had my breasts done 2 times now. This is the second one was in 2020. First time I was completely flat-chested. I was an A cup, and then wanted to have, be able to fill a wedding dress one day was my dream. So my mom actually paid for my first boob job. And so I came back from the United States. I was 22 years old and I got my first boob job. And then when I got married to my first husband, I was like, had a nice set of boobs that could fit into a wedding dress. And then I breastfed 2 babies and was like, holy crap. My boobs went from a C to a double E and now back. And so there was just like, it just needed to be filled up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go and get my boobs done again. So I did. And I feel super happy about what I did and my choices. And you know what? Plastic surgery, if it's something you believe in or something that you want to do for yourself, then go and do it. It doesn't mean that you're not true to your body. I think if you're not being true to your body if you don't listen to yourself. And if you have
Yeah,
these
and also, I mean, what's the difference between, well, there's a huge difference between having plastic surgery and then you go and see people munching, McDonald's down their throat and, and being unhealthy. So I know that it takes a lot to be what you do. I know that your job is quite demanding, physically and mentally.
Yes.
And my question to you is, physically, how do you stay in shape? And what does it take physically to do your job? And because you have to look good, right? You have to be in shape, and you are in shape.
Well, and it's a rough industry because, I'm 38 years old, so I'm no spring chicken. In fact, people call me grandma all the time.
That's a bit unkind.
Yeah, still dropping stuff. 38 is a new grandma. But I'm in a realm and in a world with a lot of youngsters. And so you've got to keep up with them. So I cycle every day with 5-pound weights around my ankles. I do lots of ab workouts. I do lots of, lots of weights. Just
every day you do something vigorous.
Every day. And lots of handstanding. Actually, handstand was a game changer for me. After having 2 children, I had 2 C-sections. The lower abs were super hard to get back. But going upside down, I tell you what, for all the ladies out there, it's the best tip I can give you is get upside down. Yeah.
And what about eating and nutrition?
Well, eating, obviously being a chef, I have a very balanced diet. I eat everything. So, but I just eat small amounts and I'm eating constantly throughout the day. I think that's the trick and it works for my body. I've just understood how my body works. So for me, it's not that hard staying in shape because I love to do it. And I like to look a certain way and it is my job. But above that, it's my job. It's something that I like to do for myself because if I don't exercise, I will become depressed. I like the endorphin rush and I also like to feel good about myself because if I don't, then the opposite of feeling good about yourself is being depressed.
Yeah, 100%.
So you got to look after your mental health too. And especially in this industry, because you're constantly being judged. You're constantly getting comments, between mean or nice comments. Look, 90% of the comments are nice. But the terrible thing is we as humans want to focus on the 10% that are crappy.
And what do they say? What do your critics say?
Everything and anything. You'll just get a lot of trolls that will, tell you you're disgusting and, how can you, put yourself out there like that and you're a disgraceful mother. Meanwhile, they have no idea of the fantastic mother I really am and like the beautiful children that I have. It's not the way that they are because their mother is a crap mother, I'll tell you that. So that it's just or it's like you're too old to be doing this. Like it's why there's just lots of negative things. I just get a lot of but there's
how do you manage that though, Liza? How do you it's hard not to take that to heart when it comes at you often.
So I've been doing this for 6 years. So in the beginning it was really tough. But then as I really got into this role and really understood how social media platforms work, I realized I had the power and not the users that are commenting.
That's a big mindset. Yeah.
I'm the one that is creating and putting myself out there. So therefore I'm the one with the biggest balls, right? Because if you're sitting there just typing comments, but you are not even posting one picture, you don't even have a profile picture, then
don't be in my space.
How much power do you have? You have zero power and you are trying to take power from me, but it will not work. And so as soon as I set that mindset up for myself, I could take the power and keep the power. And I realized there is nothing, a comment with no username, there's nothing. By the way, they have no idea who I am. By the way, they've never spent a day with me. So again,
so easy to judge,
why do I take the comments to heart? There is no point. So now I know better. But that's
so do you remember? Do you remember the first time you posted a nude, I suppose a strip or, how would you describe it? The very first post you did?
Well, that was actually on a free site. That wasn't even on our OnlyFans. That was on I was doing bikini modeling, and I just don't think nude is risky. I think
So you didn't feel apprehensive. You didn't take a deep breath.
No. And
Good.
I just posted it on this, it's Wicked Weasel. It's Australian.
Wicked Weasel.
Yeah, Wicked Weasel. It's micro bikinis.
Only Australia.
Micro bikinis, the smallest little bikinis you'll ever see. In fact, I'll post a picture on my Instagram today of a micro bikini, and then you can see what this is. Okay.
What's your Instagram post? Your handle?
Sorry?
What is your Instagram handle?
Liza Lesedi. Yes, Liza Lesedi. And so, yeah, I'll post it later, and you can see what a micro bikini is. But there's like a sister site called Micro Minimus, and adults it's actually mostly people in their 40s and up that post on the site. But they're women that just want to be able to post how good they look and feel in this bikini. And so it's a safe space where you actually have to be a member to go in, but you can pretty much post you can post nudie pictures and stuff of like you taking the bikini off and pants slung over your shoulder or top slung over your shoulder or whatever. And it's cute, and it's women being able to express themselves in a safe platform. And obviously it gets commented on and stuff, but everyone's super nice on there. But yeah, I mean, I did that way before even starting an OnlyFans and making money from that. So
the two questions that come up, I mustn't forget them, is I know that you make money, but is it very sizable? Can you retire on it? Okay.
Yes.
So how many years left for you, do you think?
I don't know. I think when it starts feeling not good anymore, or I get bored of it, then I'm on to the next thing, right? That's like any job in life. You can't do the same thing forever.
No, you can't. So OnlyFans, if I get it right, because I'm not a subscriber, is that you go onto the portal and I use my credit card once a month, or do I sign up for a year, or how does it work?
Draw out of your account every month.
How much is it?
Well, it depends. So I've got two different ones. So I've got an $11.99 subscription, and then dollars, and then a $29 subscription a month.
Is the difference in the level of stripping? Yeah.
Yes. There's difference in every platform that I have. There's always going to be different postings. So everything's going to be different.
It must be a bit confusing sometimes.
No. Well, the good thing is I capitalize on that, because then my subscribers pay $11.99, and then they know that they're not getting what the $29. So then they go for both. So I've got people, my users, my fans coming on and buying or subscribing to both of the subscriptions as well. So it works great, and they enjoy it, and it's all different content. It's always fresh and fun. So they love it.
It is. I mean, I'm only going from your Instagram post. It is a reality show, and I really dig it. I mean, even for me as a 61-year-old woman, I mean, it's fun to watch. I mean, you've got a very good persona. And a very mischievous persona. Yeah.
And comedy. And I bring in my friends. And you know what? It's really like, I've never, if you're going to ask me, I'm going to ask myself this question. Do I tell people what I do? Yes. All my friends know exactly what I do. I am not ashamed of this profession at all. The thing is, it's become so, it's such a normal job now. That's the difference. Where I think South Africans and where I came from, people are very conservative. But women are feisty, and the women have these temperaments behind that conservativeness that they would love to step out. But it takes a sense of bravery as well. Yeah. And you know what? You might be shamed by people, but the shame's on them, not on you. If you truly own who you are in life, there is nothing anyone can say to put you down. And so that's why I don't lie about what I do. I tell everyone. I even tell my daughter's best friend's mothers know, from the school. They know what I do. I'm
reminded of the Instagram post when you drove to school naked with your seatbelt over your
seatbelt over my nipple. Yeah, but that was on Instagram, and that's totally fine. And my nipples are covered. You can wear pasties on Instagram. It's all in good fun.
Yeah, and that's the sense that you
can't use a body.
Yeah, what is life without a bit of fun?
Right, yeah.
So for those critics who come at you, and like I went to a lunch on Sunday, and somebody said, "What are you doing?" And I told them what I was doing, and this guy said, "Oh man, it's so slutty and it's so terrible, and how can it be so porny? And what are you doing photographing this woman, and etc. etc." And I just asked one question back, and I said, "Do you watch porn?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well then." So talk to me about supply and demand.
Yeah, it's all about supply and demand. And why is the woman the bad one, or why is the man? Because there's women and men that are, doing the same thing in the profession. But in general, it's never a man. You don't really hear that, like, oh, that male porn star. You hear about the woman.
Yeah, you never do.
You
Yeah.
never hear about the man, but you always hear about the woman. And so again, it's small-mindedness, and again, it's about power, the power struggle between men and women, always, right? And I don't know why it's an issue, why some men feel that they need to put women down in that regard. Maybe it's out of jealousy. Maybe he wishes he could just have a moment with me. No. Why would he say I'm slutty? He doesn't even know me. Has he seen my OnlyFans before? Maybe that's a question for him.
Liza, if your daughter came home when she was 19 and said, "I want to do this on OnlyFans," how do you feel? How do you respond?
You know what? I would say I would give it a few years, honey. I would say you can't even drink yet at age 19 in the United States. It's 21 is the legal age for drinking. I'd say leave it a few years and really understand who you are first. Go to university, go study. You don't need to provide for a household right now. And, she's from an affluent family. It's like she's not going to need to propel herself. This is my career. This is my job choice. Like, I've got to make a certain amount of money every month to keep this.
But what you're not doing is saying no, which is really great. You explain to her the situation.
I would just say give it a few years, and if this is truly the career path you want to go down, because this really is a lifelong decision. Because once your information, once your videos, once you've established a platform, and let me tell you, it is not easy to be a superstar on social media.
No. It comes with a whole lot of stuff.
Blood, sweat, and tears. And I've had accounts being shut down, and so you have to start all over again. You don't just make money on OnlyFans like that. It's a long process. It takes brain smarts. Honestly, the girls that are the best in the business, they know dummies. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I always say that you're probably one of the most astute businesswomen I know, or business people, because you know your market, you know your pricing, you know what you need to do it. Yeah. And that's what I always say. And I say you your research and development is spot on. Your marketing is fantastic. So you can't do this job unless you're completely switched on.
Exactly. Completely. And you got to
I'm just going to go to some of the comments here. So Margot Moore says, "I think your clarity is so cool." And Margot is also a photographer, so she will understand why I really enjoyed photographing you, because as photographers, we always get responses where people go, "Oh, I don't like this I don't want to be photographed, and I hate my picture." And yet you and I had such a brilliant relationship where you just said, "Let's do this." Yeah. And it was a beautiful, beautiful experience for me as a photographer to be given an opportunity to work with someone who loves their body, and who is prepared to push some boundaries. And so, you and I, we've done three amazing shoots, your wedding and then two others. And I look forward to more. It was a really great experience for me as a photographer.
We're going to do tons of shoots when I move back to South Africa.
When are you moving back?
In the next few years, hopefully. I bought the house in South Africa, so
yeah, it's a cool house.
It's a very cool house.
So Organic Home says do the 5. What does that mean? Is that rude?
I don't know. I have no idea what that is.
Maybe you can explain Organic Home.
I don't know.
Yeah. So the other question is, how many collective followers do you have?
Oh, over 1 million.
Wow.
Yeah, over 1 million.
Okay. And which one is the best platform for you, the most lucrative?
Well, OnlyFans is where you're making the money.
Okay.
But you can't have OnlyFans making the money without the others, because it's a funnel, right? So you've got to have the big bucket, And that's all the social media platforms, because that's where the large majority of people are. And that's what's getting you noticed. And then you'll create the wealthiest platform ever, right? You've got a whole big bucket. And then out of that bucket, the few will trickle. So the larger the bucket,
The
the
more
more will
trickles.
trickle. And so, yeah, I mean, the percentage ratio on like over 1 million, like really, that's why I say it takes so much hard work to become the best in the industry. You know, it's girls that, and I do say that, like, once you are going to go down this road, you better be damn sure that when you get there, if this is about money making for you and it's truly something you want to do for expression and all the things, and you feel good with it and kosher with it, you got to work your butt off. And you just got to make sure that you understand it's not a get rich quick scheme. You've got to put in time, and you've got to develop all of your platforms, and you've got to be on all the platforms constantly. I mean, it's pretty exhausting, but
It's quite tiring. Yeah.
yes,
I mean, I'm in battle with one Instagram account.
I'm going to retire eventually. And the thing is, I think I'm going to just morph into my cooking shows as I get older. Although I could be a gilf eventually, as they call it. Not a MILF. I'm a MILF right now, but I could become a gilf, a grandma. You know?
Grandma, yeah. And you could be. You could be the sexiest gilf in the world.
I think there is a 90-year-old woman on OnlyFans.
No way.
There's a pretty old one, and she does pretty successful, because there's fetishes out there like you can't believe. Because who gets to see a 90-year-old 90-year-old woman naked and like expressing herself? So for a lot of people, that's a very different. It's like they would maybe want to see that. It makes sense to me. Like, okay, I haven't seen that before. Maybe I want to see that.
So tell me about the online scammers and the people who catfish you, and I mean that's a big part of it.
Okay. Yeah, the issue is when you are online and you make this big name for yourself. There are so many scammers out there that steal your identity, say as Liza Lesedi, and then they create other profiles, and then they message people, and then people think it's me. But anyone that is smart or has their wits about them, they would then just go to my Liza Lesedi profile on Instagram or any of my actual profiles and click on my link tree, and they would see on my link tree what accounts belong to me, because all of my accounts are on my link tree. But there have been times where some people have been even WhatsApped pictures of me, because I can just take them down, and then create a little relationship. Like, hi, out of the blue, this model is sending pictures to someone, and they buy it, and they think like, oh my God, this woman's hot and she wants to start a relationship.
Me, yeah. And then how do you find that out? How do you find out?
They contact me eventually because they wisen up after they've given them thousands of dollars. I'm talking $6,000, $8,000, $10,000.
No jokes.
And they're all giving the money in Amazon gift cards and like just gift cards and PayPal and things like this. And it's not even going to Liza Lesedi. And then they come after me, and then they finally wisen up and they do research and they Google Liza Lesedi online, and then I come up. And then I'm the one that gets the backlash from this. But then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but
how do you stop that?
I can't. That is on anyone getting scammed. It's like the IRS, they have scams going all the time, and it's not the IRS. It's just random people calling, or calling other like older people that have no clue about these scams, and then they give them their information and they get tons of money stolen, but in the name of the IRS. So it's just the way the world is going now, because the internet is like, it's so global, you can get any information. So you can pretend you're anyone. There's some really amazing catfish shows on Netflix that you should go and check out.
I have watched a couple, but you can't stop that. You just have to manage it when it happens, right?
It's not my fault. No, if you get scammed, that's on you. That's not me.
So is that why you changed your name?
That's part of the reason, just to kind of slow down the roll of me getting a bad rep on behalf of these criminals, right? And then also, if you are not smart enough to flag what a scam is, then again, Just maybe you shouldn't be online on the internet and on these apps, and you should not think that a model that has a lot of followers
It's going to phone you and say, I want to spend some time with you. Yeah.
Yeah. What then? You're living in a fantasy world, and that's again not my fault.
So you are creating a fantasy world, but the people that are subscribing to you, there must be some terrible trolls and some terrible predators and stuff. How do you manage that?
Well, predators, not so much for me. Trolls, trolls are going to be trolls. When in subscribing to me is what am I making money on? So that would be OnlyFans. The people on OnlyFans are actually very respectful because they have to pay to be there. The people that have the most to say are the ones that have never given you a dime. So
that's amazing.
Well, doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise you.
Doesn't surprise me. No.
Yeah. So, but no, on OnlyFans, and also when you create a profile on OnlyFans, you've got to hold your ID up and take a picture, and you've got to send it to them, like against your face. So, if somebody is using your information or copying your movies or your videos or your images and then putting it online, they can actually get into a lot of trouble. So there are ways to protect yourself in this life, but I would say in general online, on social media apps, the big ones, you really can't protect yourself other than just don't even bother standing up for yourself in comments because you're wasting your time, because trolls are just going to continue to be trolls and say mean, malicious things. But again, who are they to tell you what to do when they've never given you anything in life? Like I've given you everything. What have you given me? Nothing. So then you have zero to say to me.
So I just want to go back to fans, because it's fans, only fans that come to you and they make suggestions. How is that? Do you take advice from fans if they say they want more stuff? Like, how do you go from just taking your clothes off to masturbating in OnlyFans? Like, there's quite a range.
What I want to do when I want to do it, and people do try and ask me for things. But here's the thing: I've been very explicit in this, and I've said, and I will say it again: I do not like being told what to do. So if you tell me what to do, I actually will do less.
I can well imagine.
I mean, I was raised a Jewish girl, for goodness sake. Raised a Jewish girl, which means I am a good businesswoman and I don't need to be told how to conduct myself in my business. And this is my business. So again, it's like when people think they have ownership over you and they think they can tell you what you need to do, like, for instance, telling a doctor or a surgeon, I'm going to go back to a surgeon, that they should cut you a certain way and this is what they should do. And it's like, well, no, this is my job. This is my profession. This is my business. How about you just let me run my business? And you'll get what you get when you get it. And what a great delight and surprise when you get it.
So every time someone subscribes, you go ka-ching on your phone.
Ka-ching on your phone. No, it goes ka-ching in my OnlyFans.
It must be quite a nice feeling sitting there going ka-ching, ka-ching.
But I'm on OnlyFans every day because people want to message you too. So it's a great way to communicate with fans.
Do you respond to everybody?
And I actually
do.
I do voice responses, so then they know it's me. Most girls in the industry will not, but they like my accent. It's like, and then it's so personal. And then my fans, retention rate on your fans is that much better because you are making a personal connection.
Yeah, totally connecting.
Yeah, and so.
But you're playing in a fantasy world, and most of them understand that, right?
Of course, yeah. It's fantasy world. It's what we all are in, and it's a nice escape.
So when you speak about your sex toys, what's the motivation behind that?
No, because people really in general are interested. Because have you seen the questions I get asked? I do Q&As on a regular basis on my stories. It's a good way to connect and it's a good way to educate. I'm all about educating. And I get asked crazy questions sometimes, and like sex tips and things like this. And sometimes I just like to shock people just a little bit, where they go like, oh my God, I can't believe she just said that. She said the S word. Oh my word. I know you watched that one.
I did. I did
And
watch
like-
that one. I think I might have liked it.
I know. Okay, so well, you can ask the question if you want, if you think it's appropriate for your your users, but like what they were talking about. And I think, a sex tip going that far was very shocking, but very cool for a lot of people, because a lot of people fantasize about this kind of thing, but have never, ever been told how to do it. Because
Do you think that you legitimize people's curiosity?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because any question is a good question. If you are thinking something, then maybe ask it and let's see if we'll find out how, you know what I mean? It's like, I could answer it. I could not answer it, but that's on me. I can choose what I want to answer and what I don't want to answer. Right? But I think it's super important. And with the whole sex toy thing, people, again, are very religious in a lot of the sectors that come and follow me as well. There's a lot of Arabic men. There's tons of Arabic men that follow me. And so the whole sex toy thing, yeah, it's a bit of a mystery. And they want to know and they want to be educated in it. So I'm all for it. I understand how they work. I have my favorite toys. I name my toys.
I know you do.
And then, if I get a new toy, I'll like say, hey, if anyone
Introduce
wants to
it.
Yes, absolutely. I did. And then Instagram took it down because you can't apparently show a silicone penis on social media.
Silicone.
I don't know why. It's not even, but hey, it's real to me.
It's real to you. Okay, we've got Tiger Shark from Texas. He says Liza is a great inspiration to me.
This is Anthony. Hi, Anthony.
And then we have a name that I can't pronounce saying, is this live? And I want to tell him that it is.
This is
then
live.
I've got my younger brother, Anthony Smythe, who says, hello, guys, but we're both girls.
Yeah.
But hi, Ant. So I think I want to go back to like message for young women.
Oh,
What would you say to your daughter or to her friends when you're sitting around it and they're 21 years old? What's the message?
be yourself. You be you and you do you. Don't ever let anyone tell you what a boundary is. A boundary is your own space. Your own space. So, stay in your safe zone and do what makes you feel good. And by doing that,
Without shame.
Without shame, absolutely. Shame is the worst thing. It is debilitating. And it causes so much trauma to so many people. Not just the person in shame, but everyone else around them, because you know what? You live in lies. And lies are super seedy and can be so dangerous that if you can finally just accept who you are and love yourself for it and respect yourself by doing yourself, you'll be miles ahead of everyone else, always. And honestly, people feed off of that as well. It's maybe why you were attracted to me as well, my story, because I give off this, it's part of my aura, it's part of my character. It's authentic. If you can't trust anyone that doesn't prove to you that you can, that earning trust is super important. But how do you gain trust with someone? Through honesty. And
clarity, for sure,
I have
for sure.
always tried to be authentic and honest to the best of my ability. But since I've been able to do this, I promise you it's opened so many doors for me, and I've met the most amazing people. And people actually want to hear my story, and I've been able to educate them about the lifestyle I walk. But for my daughter and her friends, it is just about being yourself, just being honest, not being shameful, talking about things. You've got to talk until you're deaf and until you're
Bella Bryant says, I love that you be you, which is true.
Yeah,
you be you. Yeah. And Bella's the mom of two beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
And then what is your message for young men?
The same thing. It's across the board. We are all just souls trying to make it through this life. And you can't make it through this life if you don't love yourself. So you better you better start appreciating who you are and know who you are. Stop. This is part of the problem. We all worry about what everyone else is doing. but you've got to worry about what you are doing first. It's like oxygen mask in an airplane. We are always taught, help yourself first before you help others. So same thing, right? Help yourself first, and then you can go out and tell others or help others.
Absolutely sure. So does Liza love men?
Yeah.
And does she understand men? I mean, I feel like you do.
Well, I feel like I do. I think I do. But, on any given day, sometimes I can mess up too. I'm not perfect. Some days I can think this is what somebody wants or think I understand. And then I'm like, I didn't see that one coming. But that's okay, because I like the shock factor too. And it's always good for me to keep learning because I want to learn and I want to grow.
Sure.
But no, I love men and women. I like all genders. I don't even know if gender's a thing anymore, to be quite honest. I think we're moving in such a vast direction now, but this is a whole other conversation. But I love all. Like, you just, and I am bisexual, so I just chose to marry a man.
Yeah, and as you say, you're honest, and everyone is close to you knows you, and there's very little that comes in the way of you in truth.
Oh, yeah, completely. And the other thing is I bear all on my social media platforms. There's a lot people know about me, more than they know about any other social media person, because I feel like...
You're prepared to be vulnerable and and to go out there.
This was a very interesting social experiment, actually, and an experience during COVID, because in 2020, people were in lockdown in Italy and all over the world, as you know. And so they were in like New York confined spaces. I mean, imagine being in a big city in lockdown. Awful. In South Africa, you guys still walk the beaches. You weren't supposed to, but you did. And, you still stepped out a little bit and had your space. But there were many people around the world that were trapped in isolated and alone. And social media gave me a platform to connect on a level with these humans that were bored out of their mind, depressed, and going through hell in their prison cell that was their home, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an art, eh?
So I could connect on lives on my cell phone, cook with them, eat with them, have fun with them, dance with them, put on, and also in so doing, it was a give and take there for me, because it gave me something to do. I was bored out of my mind too. So I was able to dance for a crowd rather than just dancing alone and being like, oh, I'm going to drink another bottle of wine. Yay. No, you have to keep your wits about you. You have to, connect and talk and check out if everyone's doing okay. And then you can connect with them on the lives like this, where you get the split screen. And I'm telling you, it was a very interesting time for social media. I think
but it must have also really helped a lot of people have that connection, because as you say, you're living in a flat in New York and you can't even get outside.
No.
And you don't see another human being. Imagine how nice that would be to be able to engage in such a flirtatious and fun and light-hearted and reciprocal
sometimes felt like nothing was going on in the world. It sometimes felt like everything was just as it was supposed to be, normal.
Did you see your subscriptions rise during COVID?
Oh, OnlyFans went off the chains during. That's where it really. FedEx. Sorry.
FedEx.
It's daytime.
What is it? A sex toy?
No, I don't. I think this is a cabin toy. Something called a cabin.
Oh, cabin. Oh, God, cabin. Okay, so I want to know what you think about romance and love and sex, and just like all in the same.
Well, firstly, romance is important, but not everyone is a romance person, and that's understandable. But my advice on this is, love is a huge word. So it's like, is this love with a lover, or is this love with Sandy over here? But you can't have a flirtatious and romantic relationship and fun relationship that's like, super connected without sex. You have to have sex in a relationship, and you have to have good sex in a relationship. Good sex is vital, because it's a problem if it's not good for the woman, but it's good for the man. And it's a problem if it's not good for the man, but it's good for the woman. It's a give and take. It's a 50-50. It's a body response. I think when you start closing yourself off to sex, that's when the wheels actually come off in relationships. Put a lot of effort on my sex life, I must be honest. But I like it, and it's a sport, and actually you can burn some calories. So it's fun.
You can burn some calories.
Burn some calories while you're at it. But no, you absolutely, you have to, love and romance. Love is such a big word, because love is action as well. You can see love through action. And so, I love a lot of people. I connect with a lot of people. I mean, I love people that are on my social media platforms even, and I've never even met them face to face. But I feel like
That's a different type of love, yeah.
Empathy and love and understanding and yeah, it's an appreciation actually, because I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have them.
So just with that audience of yours, has anything strange or funny happened to you online that you can share?
Oh my God.
Sounds like there is.
Started my period.
What?
Yeah, I started my period once on camera. I know, it was bad.
Oh,
I was
what?
doing a live performance and I got my period and I was like, oh shit. And it was like, oh my God, everyone can see white pants.
And you had to explain your way through that, but it's quite
No,
normal.
I didn't. I was like, I'm a woman. Just happened. Sorry, I'll be right back. Going to the bathroom.
Yeah, matter of fact.
I mean,
But is anything strange or funny had from people? Like,
yeah, but there it becomes an education again. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Oh shit! But this was years ago. But still, it could have been an embarrassing thing. But it's like, well, I'm a woman. I get my period. What am I supposed to do? And I don't.
It's a good opportunity for education.
I don't count the days. When it happens, it happens.
So Margot says, was COVID the beginning of the space of work for you?
No, 6 years ago. It was actually when I came out of my divorce. My ex-Mormon husband was married into a Mormon family, and I was dying inside. Honestly, I hadn't been home in 8 years to see my family. They promised that I was going to go see my family every single year.
As in the Mormon culture community?
No, the family. So my ex-husband, and so for me, I lost my own family in the process. I actually went through my own little mourning process where I told myself, you might only see your mom 4 more times in your lifetime. Because if you're going at the rate of 8, so every 8 years you're going home, that means 4 times before she passes away, right? Heaven forbid, this is at like the oldest she can die at, right? But the thought of that, because family is so important to me, but the thought of that made me realize that I was either going to lose out on my whole existence, which was where I came from, and my family life, and they're all alive and well, right? That I should be able to experience them. And I thought, well, how is that nice? How is that kind? Who would treat a spouse this way? And so, I landed up having an affair, and proud to say it, had an affair, and it happened that my affair and I actually worked out. So
Today you're married to him.
I got married to him. And he is the love of my life, and he is the most amazing man. And, he would move heaven and earth for my family and I to be together. And so we did. We bought a house in South Africa together. But when I left my ex-husband, I went down this journey of self-exploration where I needed to capture who I was before I met him. And when I was growing up, I was a naughty, naughty girl, teenager, super out there, always, I remember here's an old memory that comes to mind.
In Port Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, I remember standing on our roof garden and flashing cars as they come by. And I was probably 9 years old, to be quite honest. I would like lift my skirt and flash everyone. I mean, and so is that a telltale sign of who the hell I was going to become in the future? You know, but I went back into the soul searching, wanted to feel sexy again because I felt like I had lost myself completely. And I did. I sent you an image of what I looked like, you know, during my marriage. And I wanted to hide myself from the world. And then when I came out of it, I was like, I want to show myself to the world. I want to, like, it's like giving birth to myself.
Celebrate.
Like, I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to be, this is going to be a new me that comes out of this death. Because when you end a relationship, it's a death. And I had 2 small babies, and, you know, I left with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, no family support here. I did it by myself, you know, and then eventually my husband and I, we got, you know, we moved in together and we started a life together. But before that, I had to make it on my own. And I had a good job at the time too, but it wasn't fulfilling to me. This is fulfilling. And so I just decided I wanted to be sexy. Chris actually, oh, shoot. I'm not supposed to say that.
Your guy?
My guy actually bought me my first Wicked Weasel bikini. And
Bought your first what?
Wicked Weasel bikini.
Wicked Weasel.
Yeah, the little micro bikini. And I put it on and I was like, what the hell is this thing? And I was like, God, it's so small. And it's like biggest wedgie you can ever get, smallest, thinnest wedgie you can ever get, pretty much. But it was so tight and so teeny, and like the triangle, like just covered your nipples, you know, like just enough, but shows the rest of your boob, and like the little diamond over your vagina is like so small. It's like, you can wear this to a beach. Like, yeah. We went to California. I was wearing it in Carmel by the Sea, and I felt liberated. I was like,
whoa.
The
moment.
But it's
the pivotal moment.
I put myself out there in a public setting wearing the smallest little bikini string you will ever see. And I was like, wow, if this is not a social experiment as well, then I don't know what is, because you had people that looked and you had people that didn't care. Yeah. It was like, and then
you have to repost that picture on Instagram with the bikini again.
No, I will. I mean, the thing is, you had people that would actually stand on the top of the beach by, you know, by the car park or whatever, and they would stand there with like their phones or their binoculars as well, and like they're snapping away and taking pictures. And it was at that moment that I was like, look at the power I have. Look at the power I have.
Amazing minute, amazing second.
So anyway, some of the things, and that was a turning point for me. And then I was like, hey, I think I want to set up an account to, you know, post pictures on this micro minimus. I want more people to see this. Like, how can I get more people to see this? Because there's only a certain amount of people walking on a beach. So how can I get more people to see this? And so then the intrigue came in, and I felt so liberated in that moment. It's
what's the most? Sorry.
No, you're good.
What's the most like? What is the thing that is most misunderstood about what you do?
There's a lot of misunderstanding. I think, you know, it's like people think you're a slut or you're this, but the thing is, these are names that were made up to be derogatory and mean to other individuals, specifically to women. The word slut is defined to me what a slut is, because quite frankly, it's like, well, do we really ask the question, how many people have you slept with? I mean, who does that? That's no one's business. No one's business. And also, you want to conduct yourself in the way that you want to be treated, right? So I'm authentic, and so therefore, you know, it's like, you know, by being authentic, if you want to call me a name, again, it's on you. So yeah, there's a lot of misconception, like because you are out there and showing yourself and brave enough to do it, and actually braveness should be commended. But the problem is people become uncomfortable because this is not the normal, but it's becoming the normal. The younger generation, the girls in their 20s, this is the normal for them right now. This is where it is. The older generation has a lot more to say. The younger generation couldn't give two. They don't care.
Is there anything that you're self-conscious about?
Yes, my bum.
Really?
Yes, because, and also the fact that I've had 2 babies, my skin on my stomach. I've done some Morpheus treatments to try and like tighten it. But I mean, I gained 68 pounds with both pregnancies, lots. I was huge. That, you know, your skin gets thinner. And so when you, for instance, plank, or all the ladies out there that have had children, like your stomach hangs. And so in my industry, I'm like super conscious as to how I'm going to hold my stomach, carry it, and all the things so that no one notices or that it pleases me. I think it's more that I don't feel ashamed of myself. Like
Yeah, they don't.
My bum in the standards of today is not big enough. So I got to do more squats. But, you know, remember, it's like the body changes so much over the course of, you know, 100 years, what is fashionable and what is not. Remember the days of like Cindy Crawford, Claudia Schiffer, Kate Moss, all of them. The thinner the better. How about Twiggy? Like the thinner the better. And now it's like, no, you got to have the curves. You got to have that big
like
old
Beyonce and J-Lo. Yeah, exactly.
So you got to, it's like, do I have to keep changing my body or not? And so, no, I'm staying who I am, and you love me for who I am. But no, do I make sure the angles on my photographs are shot in a certain way so that my bum looks better than what I perceive it to be? But those are the 2 things bodily that I would like, you know, physically have, just be, maybe not as confident about.
How much of you is you and how much of you is Liza?
I am Liza. The thing is, I just don't use my name. But it's me.
It is you.
Because I'm living this life every day. And you can't have a reality TV show without showing up as you every day. Otherwise, I don't know who I am.
Yeah, you're very authentic.
That would be
so
ridiculous.
You spoke about changing your name. So I just want to go one step ahead and say, you've already said that you only got a few more years of this. So what happens after that?
Social media is not going to go away, but I think I'm going to have to slide into another space. And it's going to be my cooking show is really going to take off, I think. I really want to push that more. Now, my cooking show is, for those of you that don't know, it's a sexy cooking show, and it is actually tailored towards men. Although a lot of women do watch me as well, because I present myself and present my cooking shows in low plunging necklines, which I like, and I like the way it makes me feel. And, you know, obviously, yes, smart mind for me, sex sells. I know this. And so I can get an audience of males. But here's the thing, wives don't understand, but they should understand. If I can teach your husband how to cook, isn't that better for you? Then you don't have to slave away in the kitchen. So I have the attention of men. Men are my number one, right, on social media. That's my audience. I think it's 96% men, 4% women.
Seriously? Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's the ratio. So I can teach all your husbands how to cook.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. When you come and live in St. Francis, I think that's going to be a live thing.
Completely. And so I bought that house, and it's got the most amazing kitchen, great lighting. And so I'm gonna do my cooking shows from there. But for now, I do my cooking shows here in Salt Lake, and then I've got also a cabin in the mountains. So I actually do rustic cooking shows. But I'm the sexy chef that does rustic cooking shows. And so it's a niche market, right? It's something no one's really tapped into. And I've been called the hotter version of Nigella Lawson.
Okay, well, it sounds like that's a compliment.
No, completely. But when my hair's blonde again, I won't look like Nigella Lawson anymore. So, I went from blonde to brunette, short hair,
To
and
pink.
that's when the whole name changed, and everyone's like, oh, looks like Nigella Lawson. Wait, is that Nigella Lawson? Oh no, can't bring a low-cut top. But the low-cut top shot me to fame because on TikTok, because those videos went completely viral.
Amazing what goes viral. You can never tell. Well, maybe you can. But
You
I
can,
mean, some things
tell,
just
but
run.
also they've got to be picked up by other big swingers.
Names, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I was my Shade Arena was one of them, and
Arena.
I don't know, Shade Arena. He's a comedian. He's doing a whole tour around the United States right now. But he took one of my videos. It was a carrot video.
Say no more.
And carrot video. I was actually honestly telling you just how to make these amazing carrots, and you bake them in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then he's like, really?
So there must be some days that you wake up and you've got to perform and you've got to take off your clothes and you've got to do it and you really just don't feel like doing it. Can you ever take a day off?
I do take days off, and there are days when I don't feel like taking off my clothes and I don't take off my clothes.
Okay, so you just go with it. For the most part, it's quite constant.
Yeah, you just go with the flow. I haven't posted anything on. I think I did on Sunday. I posted on OnlyFans, and I didn't post yesterday, and I didn't post today. And there's been days where I just haven't posted on Instagram because sometimes you just need a little break. It's like taking a two-day weekend. Now, people in the industry, people that are following, expect every single day. But the truth be told, I'm not a machine, so I can't. If it's not expected for you, then the same standard should apply to me. Like if you can take 2 days off of work, then so should I be able to take 2 days off of work.
Yeah. What is your cooking show called, and is it on YouTube?
It is. It's Liza Lesedi is Delicious. On YouTube. But then on my TikTok, it's just Liza Lesedi. And on Instagram, I also post cooking shows, and that's Liza Lesedi as well. And then, And then I have Twitter account, and then you can just, I tweet out when I have a new recipe and jazz. So there's some racy stuff on Twitter too, though. So if you're not into that stuff, then I would just say go to YouTube.
YouTube. Go to YouTube where it is.
Yeah, that's it. That is it.
So Laz, we're gonna kind of close down now. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you is advice for a younger person wanting to go in your line of the work.
Be prepared to work your ass off. I mean, that's it. So if this is something you want to do, I support it 100%. And I say it's going to be a hell of a ride, and you're going to learn and grow. Well, hopefully you do, because you need to learn and grow from all things in life. But also you're going to have a strong head above on your shoulders. Like you're going to really have to be tough cookie. You have to hustle. I'm a hustler. And you got to hustle. Every day's a hustle.
Every day is a hustle.
Every day is a hustle.
So if people want to follow you on Instagram, it's Liza Lesedi.
Yeah, it's Liza.
And then once you get there, you'll be able to go into the others, or how
you can go. Yeah, I mean, you can just search it, whatever. Maybe don't search. Just go on Instagram.
So do you run everything yourself? You don't have anybody to help you. You don't have social media experts. You are the expert, right?
Yep. They call me the boss bitch.
The boss bitch.
Boss bitch. No, that's.
But I mean, it's just you. You don't have auditors. You don't have all that stuff. It's just you.
No, it's just me. So I did have a photographer. I mean, I still use him. So I've got a photographer that I work with. Oh, as often as we can.
Two that you work with.
Well, I got you, yes, as well. She's a great photographer, everyone. Sandy is an amazing photographer. So yes, but here in the United States, and then, that's it. It's just me and the photographer. That's it.
It's very streamlined. And I know you just had a birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So my last question to you is, what would make your year?
What would make my year? Oh, that is a big question. Wow, didn't see that one coming. what would make my year? Honestly, there's so much crap happening in this country right now, and in Iran as well. I'm shocked at what's going on in the world in general. What would make my year is for women to be able to take control of themselves and not have powers that be dictate who they can be and what they can be. Like I would honestly take that pain away from the world. I would just that would make my year.
That's amazing.
Well, what's happening in the US right now is really bad. You know, women just don't have control over their own bodies.
Terrible,
and it's a bad thing. I mean, we've gone through a lot, and it just seems like it's going backwards in time. So I don't know. It's like Handmaid's Tale is a real thing right now.
I mean, how advanced was that? Yeah.
So, and especially having a daughter, I just don't want my daughter to grow up in a society like this. I think it's for her to have no rights. And, you know, Idaho, they are in Idaho, sorry, just to go off point here, but the Idaho University just said if no teachers are allowed to even supply, the university is not allowed to supply condoms to students even. Unless
it's going backwards.
You are not allowed to have an abortion. If you have an abortion, you will be sentenced to death in Idaho. I mean, in Arizona. How about that? I mean, it is.
So we're definitely going to look forward to you coming to South Africa. You're going to come back here and live here, right?
I'm going to live there, yes, and I'm going to spice things up.
In St. Francis. We so look forward to you coming.
Well, when I was there last, we did spice things up, and it was a lot of fun.
No, we did. You did. For sure you did.
I still get messages.
They're still talking about you. They're still talking about you.
I still get messages from some of the girls from the village, and they're like, oh my gosh, wish you were here. Could we go party? I'm like, yeah, completely. Next year, I'll be back.
No, we so look forward to you coming. That's for sure. So Debs De Silva is a good friend of mine. She says, great interview. Quick question. If you did not do what you do, what would you be doing? It's a great question.
I'd be depressed. I mean, yeah. I love what I'm doing. I can't see myself doing anything other than what I'm doing right now. I just can't because it's this, honestly, not having family here and not having a support system. What would I be able to really do being a single mom? Well, married now, but my husband works full time. So how would I be present for my children? If I have to get a job, then I have to hire a nanny, or my kids come home from school and they're stuck here by themselves.
I mean, this job gives you great flexibility.
I have all the flexibility in the world. Now, is this going to be forever? No, but nothing for me is forever really in the workspace, because I'm super creative. So I've got to I need to stay in the creative space. So if I wasn't doing this, it would be something else creative, but I would have to be at home. And I don't know what else could be more lucrative than what I do now.
Absolutely. So. And staying at home.
Well, I can make the money. I think I should stick in that zone and stick with it. But, you know, I'll be honest, I have zero, there's not even a question in my mind what I do, if it's bad or if it's, you know, it's just what I do. And it's what I love to do. And it's what excites me.
And it's what you do really, really well. I mean, your level of engagement with your followers is superb.
It is great. And it's great to be able to connect with people from all over the world every single day. And I don't ever get bored. That's the biggest thing. So if I wasn't doing this, I would be doing my cooking show. But I'm doing my cooking show and I'm doing this. So I feel alive and I feel energized, and I'm proud of myself. And I think I've accomplished a heck of a lot, especially being a South African coming into the United States. And
how wonderful. Yeah, I mean, it's just a hell of a story.
And then also having the ability to come back to South Africa and then live in South Africa and bring my dollars back to South Africa. And more South Africans need to do that. I don't know how many of your viewers are South African or from South Africa living in other countries, but, you know, there are places in South Africa that are amazing. And, you know, yeah, there's problems, but there's problems everywhere. Trust me, no place is perfect. Home is where the heart is, everyone.
just what I know it's probably the last question now, but what do you say to people who say about objectifying women?
Well, some people would say that you are the reason why women are objectified. To me,
Who, that person?
There are people that say, Liza, you are the reason why women are objectified. And I said, well, no, being objectified is within the person that's objectifying a woman. That's
totally. They're the ones who are judging. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
It's not my fault if somebody wants to objectify. It's like there could be a very nice looking steak on the table, for instance, beautiful filet, and somebody would be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Ooh, I want to eat that, right? Objectifying that dish. There might be a vegan that walks past and goes, oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, so it just comes from the framework of that person.
It's a frame of mind and a mindset, and really, if you don't want to be there, then just don't look. Don't subscribe. Don't follow my page. Yeah. Don't look at my pictures.
Don't judge
me. Don't look for negativity or something that's going to fuel anger within yourself. Just do you. Just worry about yourself. Don't worry about me.
And tonight you have given us such insight into how you do you. And I want to thank you for these last 90 minutes. It's been illuminating and interesting and fascinating and educational. And you better start posting some of those ones back onto Instagram, like a little Incy Bikino. Yeah,
I'll do it.
Liza Lesedi, all right.
Yeah, Liza Lesedi. And thanks so much, Sandy. What a great little interview. And
oh, it was such a joy and I've always said you're the most authentic person, and there is very little about you that doesn't stick close to what you are in your being. So I look forward to, I know you're going to change the name again, but I look forward to meeting the new person.
You have
and
any suggestions on there?
Maybe we should ask people for suggestions.
Yeah, let's ask the audience if there is a name you think I should change to next. I change about once every year.
Jessica.
Yeah.
That's Jessica. I think I shot that photograph. Where maybe on Instagram you can start following Liza and then give her a name that she can start using. But I look forward to hugging you and giving you a big welcome back hug on using your real name when you get back to St. Francis.
Oh, no, yes. Oh, I can't wait, Sandy. Can't wait. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate the time.
Thank you. Okay. I really do. Thank you. Thanks to everybody.
Let's sit down. Coming out of PE town. Have a drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle.